Cancel culture is a cruel phenomenon of modern society where the hidden aspects of celebrities' lives come to light and people take on the role of judges, determining their fates. We will talk about stars who have lost everything, both deservedly and undeservedly. We'll discuss Louis C.K. and his salute to colleagues, as well as a Hollywood actor who became a cannibal and threatened to roast his ex. Watch until the end. Manson was never one to conform, and anything could be expected from him. He openly embraced eccentricities in his behavior, not to mention his provocative music videos, which many saw as a form of art or artistic expression. However, in an unexpected turn of events in 2021, Manson's ex-girlfriend, actress Evan Rachel Wood, accused him of using physical force against her. Four other women joined in, accusing the musician not only of physical abuse but also of emotional torment. One of them claimed that the rock star held her captive, subjected her to starvation, set her on fire, raped her, and demanded that she sign a blood contract quite literally. Strange rumors often circulate about controversial artists like Manson and even about musicians like Till Lindemann from Rammstein. It's essential not to rush to judgment as no admissions or legal actions have been taken yet. For Manson, however, the consequences were swift. He was immediately dropped from the TV series American Gods and Creepshow. Official representatives of Manson are trying to downplay the scandal, suggesting that all these allegations were made for the sake of sensationalizing the eccentric star. This includes threats of beheading made against his former girlfriend. Now Manson's music is viewed somewhat differently, blurring the line between a dark fairy tale and harsh reality. But believe it or not, this is not the wildest case in our selection. In essence, this was the first high-profile cancellation case of a Hollywood star, and it marked the beginning of the era of cancel culture in the industry. In late 2017, allegations of misconduct surfaced against Kevin Spacey. The most notable accusation came from actor Anthony Rapp, who claimed that Spacey had attempted to seduce him back in 1986. The star of House of Cards was promptly fired from the series, and scenes from the film All the Money in the World featuring him were reshot. The scandal was akin to a bombshell, and within a matter of weeks, Spacey had lost all his contracts, titles, and awards. Spacey disappeared from public view for a year until 2018, when he began posting cryptic Christmas videos on YouTube as Frank Underwood, his character from House of Cards. For the next 2 years, Spacey continued this bizarre tradition before vanishing once more. Not even his legal victory against Anthony Rapp, where his lawyers successfully proved his innocence, saved Spacey. There are still around a dozen other accusations against him, some with more substantial evidence, making it premature to speak of a reputation restoration or a comeback. In 5 years, Spacey has only appeared in one film, where he essentially played himself in the Italian drama The Man Who Drew God. Well, if someone gets cancelled and then it turns out they were wronged, can they be rehabilitated? Is there a way back from the public's wrath? The Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard trial was the most discussed reality show of 2022, preceding a full-blown cancellation of the actor. It was perhaps the most media-covered scandal, with courtroom drama where one couldn't decide whether to laugh or cry. If you missed it, here is a brief timeline. Back in 2016, during their divorce proceedings, Heard accused her ex-husband of domestic abuse. In 2018, she went into greater detail. Depp provided his own version of events and accused his ex-wife of abuse as well, ultimately filing a defamation lawsuit against her. As you've probably gathered, Heard also countersued, and this power couple began hashing out their dirty laundry in public, airing who slept with whom and who defiled their shared living spaces. In 2020, Depp's career was essentially destroyed due to these scandals. Even before that, he had not been actively taking on roles for a couple of years. During the controversy, he was effectively removed from his role as Gellert Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts franchise. After that, there were no roles, even though he was one of the most famous and highly rated actors in Hollywood. Depp won the lawsuit against Amber Heard, which delighted his male fans, who mocked Heard's arguments. However, this victory did not seem to help much. Significant projects aren't exactly knocking on Depp's door. The list of premieres includes only the French historical drama Jeanne, where Depp plays King Louis XV. He also appeared as a model in a fashion show of Rihanna's brand, but even after winning the case, he received hate comments from Heard supporters. So far, this remains the only case where a superstar and quite possibly the central figure of the industry received a real blow to his career. Harvey Weinstein is a true Hollywood legend. This famous producer, known for his aggressive and uncompromising business tactics, played a pivotal role in the film industry for 4 decades. Thanks to him, many actresses like Uma Thurman, Jennifer Lawrence, Jessica Alba, Sienna Miller and Gwyneth Paltrow got their chances to shine and become inspirations to the world. However, as high as Harvey had climbed, he had to fall from that height when confronted with the fact that not everyone was willing to turn a blind eye to his crimes. In 2016, after an expose in the New York Times, several women who had worked with the renowned producer came forward, confessing that he had offered them career advancement in exchange for sexual favors. One publication led to another, and this snowball effect gained momentum over several months, overshadowing all of Weinstein's contributions. Neither connections, nor money, nor a team of high-profile lawyers could save him. On February 24, 2020, a jury found Weinstein guilty on 2 of the 5 charges that made it to trial. And on March 11th, Supreme Court Justice James A. Burke sentenced Harvey Weinstein to 23 years in prison. But the story didn't end there. In February 2023, he was hit with an additional 16 years for the rape of a Russian model. At one point, Franco was one of Hollywood's most prolific stars, appearing in both comedies and blockbusters, earning an Oscar nomination and managing to direct and produce numerous projects. He was also seen at celebrity gatherings wearing a Time's Up pin in support of victims of sexual violence. In early 2018, 5 students from Franco's acting school accused him of regular sexual misconduct. Just days before the accusations, Franco had won a Golden Globe for his role in The Disaster Artist, but his movie was pulled from Oscars consideration, even though it had been considered a favorite. Franco wasn't removed from other projects and films featuring him that were released throughout the year, but he hasn't announced any new film projects since then. Following these events, Franco's best friend and frequent collaborator Seth Rogen announced that he would never work with Franco again, ending their 20-year creative partnership. In 2021, the cancelled actor paid $2.2 million in settlements to his victims. His first project after 4 years of being cancelled was starring in a biopic about Fidel Castro, a choice supported by Castro's daughter, even though the film has yet to be released. Now let's talk about comedians. Can they get away with anything in the name of humor, or is there a limit? Louis C.K., a legendary figure in stand-up comedy, actor and director, was also one of the first to face the wave of celebrity cancellations. He did so for periodically forcing female colleagues to watch him masturbate. This might have been considered a joke in the style of Louis C.K., but it turned out to be a traumatizing truth. In the autumn of 2017, on the eve of the premiere of his film I Love You, Daddy, Louis C.K. was pulled from screenings due to these allegations. No TV network or streaming service wanted to air his comedy shows either. Louis C.K. immediately confessed to everything, publicly expressed remorse, and personally apologized to all the non-anonymous victims of his misconduct. Perhaps this partial transparency saved him from a complete career collapse. For the past 5 years, the comedian hasn't had any major releases, but he has periodically appeared on various podcasts and toured across Europe with his stand-up shows. Louis C.K. now produces everything himself, but not in the way he did before. He releases videos on his personal website because producers and streaming platforms still hesitate to work with him, considering him a ratings risk. But while it was clear with the previous cases that harassment and terrible actions were involved, what about canceling someone over words? In early 2021, Lucasfilm severed ties with actress Gina Carano, who portrayed Cara Dune in the series The Mandalorian. All of this happened because of her TikTok video where she compared the USA to Nazi Germany, citing the hatred towards Republicans as akin to Germans' attitudes towards Jews. Here is that unfortunate quote. Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? This was not her only misstep on social media. She had previously blocked accounts supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. She also opposed vaccination and promoted conspiracy theories about the US elections being rigged. Many already saw her as a controversial figure, and her political statements simply added fuel to the fire, becoming the last straw for her cancellation in a country she criticized so vehemently. Words have consequences even for great writers, and the next celebrity is known even by the littlest ones. You've probably heard about this scandal, and even the residents of the jungle might have heard about it. Rowling made the mistake of expressing her personal opinion on Twitter, suggesting not to complicate things with the names of female individuals and to use the old and clear term woman. After this, she faced a torrent of accusations of hatred toward transgender individuals. After that, it was as if a portal to hell had opened. Rowling was bombarded with criticism, outrage, and hatred. She received insults and threats, but that wasn't the end of it. Stars of the Harry Potter film adaptations Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe publicly condemned the author. Major fan sites dedicated to the Harry Potter universe announced that they would no longer publish information about Rowling. Her handprints in Edinburgh were splattered with red paint. People started crossing out the author's name on the covers of her books. Sales of Harry Potter books in the United States sharply declined. She wasn't even invited to the special episode commemorating the 20th anniversary of the Harry Potter film franchise, which wouldn't exist without her. Quite amusingly, she became the character whose name cannot be mentioned. But to be fair, Rowling's stance has somewhat softened recently, and she has become more tolerant, apparently bearing fruit from the experience of cancellation. And what about domestic violence among celebrities? Is that a cancel-worthy offense in Hollywood? Elgort started as a star in teenage sci-fi and tearjerker dramas. If you've seen Divergent and The Fault in Our Stars, you'll remember him. Some of his later notable works include Baby Driver with the equally famous Kevin Spacey and the adaptation of The Goldfinch. In the summer of 2020, his ex-girlfriend accused Elgort of sexual assault. The actor responded with a post denying everything and apologized only for his behavior during the breakup. After that, he was kinda cancelled, but not entirely. There weren't any high-profile firings, but Elgort became a recluse for a long time, staying out of the spotlight both on set and on social media. At the end of the previous year, he starred in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. There were no scandals, but the film's promotion didn't prominently feature Elgort. In 2022, the actor played the lead role in the series Tokyo Vice, and since then, judging by his Instagram, he has mostly been shooting the second season in Japan. In general, people forgave him, attributing all the drama to a domestic dispute during the breakup of the couple. However, studios still approach the actor cautiously, and he receives fewer offers. So far, Lana Del Rey hasn't been completely cancelled, but she certainly faces career challenges because she's not well liked by socially active feminists, and the reasons might seem absurd at first glance. They simply don't like what Lana sings about. She's constantly accused of romanticizing domestic violence. The singer in turn defends herself, saying she sings about ordinary life and such things really happen, but her aim is not to promote violence. Moreover, she's labeled an anti-feminist because she openly doesn't support feminism, meaning she doesn't participate in support actions, doesn't constantly write about women's rights everywhere. It's like, if you're not with us, you're against us. That's the logic, to which Lana responds like this. For me, the issue of feminism is just not an interesting concept. I'm more interested in SpaceX and Tesla and what's going to happen with our intergalactic possibilities. When people ask me about feminism, I say, God, I'm just not really that interested. She faced allegations of racism for the first time in 2020 when she criticized Beyoncé and Ariana Grande for all their songs being about sex and cheating. The public immediately accused her of being a racist and jealous. The second time she faced backlash was due to her new album in early 2021. Users didn't like the cover where she was surrounded by white women. Even Lana's explanations that these were her best friends, some of whom have Mexican roots, didn't appease them. You have to admit it's not for nothing that she only makes friends with white people. This is perhaps the wildest case on our list because the actor was essentially caught confessing to cannibalism. Armie Hammer was an Oscar nominee, a star of films directed by Clint Eastwood, Guy Ritchie, and David Fincher. But everything went downhill in 2021. Texts between Hammer and women surfaced online where he discussed cannibalism and behaved extremely oddly. But it didn't end there. Accusations of sexual assault, emotional abuse, and threats to roast and eat various body parts of his partners followed. Quite something new, isn't it? Contracts with Hammer were immediately terminated. He was fired from the series The Offer and the comedy Shotgun Wedding. Taika Waititi took on reshooting scenes with him in his sports drama Next Goal Wins. Lawyers claimed that the accusations were nonsense and that everything would settle down soon and Hammer would return to filming. In 2022, the actor appeared in the detective film Death on the Nile, but only because the film was shot in 2019 and had been waiting for better times after the global pandemic. It would have been too expensive to reshoot, so the creators waited until the controversy died down. It seems that Hammer's financial situation is also very bad. In the summer, he was spotted working as a concierge at a hotel in the Cayman Islands. Let's hope none of the guests go missing. Cancel culture has received so much support that artists and musicians are sometimes cancelled indiscriminately, devaluing truly heinous deeds, yet denying the right to rehabilitation for those who were just accidentally caught up in it.